It's no surprise if you are on social media that you notice that people say some very hurtful things in the comments. Sometimes I feel it doesn't matter what a person posts, someone has something negative to say. I knew this going into social media. I have another social media account that is not at all talking about my son. I share his blood disorder here and there, but that's not what my channel is about. And I still get negative comments. And to be honest, they don't really bother me that much because it's not really anything personal against me or my child. But when I started sharing about my son, I did not expect some of the negative comments that I got. When we first found out my son had a blood disorder, I made a short and I didn't think much of it. And it was a way of helping me process what had happened. And I also wanted to share with others that as a parent, some things are just out of our control. And that short got over 3 million views. I had never expected that to happen. Recently, about a month ago, I put the short on private because of how many awful comments I got. And at first I would type out long responses and I would try to explain. But as I posted more videos on my channel, obviously they just were choosing not to watch my videos, so they didn't know who I was as a person. And so I realized maybe that short for my mental health had to just be put away for a while. So I'm going to share some of the comments that I got so that you can also realize that if you have a social media presence and you get negative comments, this is just kind of part of it, which is sad, but it is. Or hopefully this makes you also second question posting a negative comment. One of the most common comments I got is, well, this is what's happening when people get vaccinations. Now, nowhere in that short did I mention if I got a flu vaccination. No, nowhere was that mentioned. If you watch any of my other videos, I have mentioned over and over that I was pregnant with my daughter right when COVID hit. I didn't get the vaccination because it was still so new. And even my doctor was like, I don't have enough information on it to tell you yes or no. That has to be your decision. I decided not to get it. I gave birth to my daughter and then I was breastfeeding. So again, I didn't get any shots because I was breastfeeding and I was fairly healthy. My son was a surprise. My daughter was 7-8 months old. I got pregnant with my son. And again, everything happened so quickly, I didn't even think to get any type of vaccination. Then I gave birth to my son, who happened to have a severe blood disorder that we found out about when he was 8 months old. So again, throughout that whole time, there was no vaccinations. I have many friends who have had vaccinations and who have given birth to boys, and none of their children have hemophilia. Now, we also know correlation does not mean causation, but in general, right now, there's no studies that show that. Even if I did, we can't say that's what caused it, but I didn't. So that's one of the most common one of the most common comments I get is it was my fault. And again, I would write out this long response and explain all that, but I don't owe anybody an explanation. And if they want to watch my channel and they want to watch my videos and see more history, they are more than welcome to. But if they don't want to take the time to do that, I'm not going to take the time to write a response. One comment was very hurtful and I ended up having to report the comment. Nothing came of it, but it was a woman who actually had a YouTube talking about narcissistic behavior and abuse, which as someone who was going for my graduate in trauma-focused counseling, I would never say this comment to another mother. But again, this is a short. There's no information. My son is smiling in all the pictures. He's a happy kid. You could just see in his eyes how he's treated by his parents. This is all on them. It was something like that. And honestly, I can't remember, but it was insane that she wrote that. I was like, I don't even know how anyone could come to that conclusion. So obviously I reported the comment. I went to her page first just to see, I don't know, maybe there's something going on with her. And sometimes I try to also be sympathetic that sometimes people just don't know, but I don't know why. I don't know why she'd write that comment. It was just messed up. The other most common comment I get, so hemophilia B is considered a rare genetic blood disorder. There's about 7,500-ish people within the United States who have it. So it is a rare disorder, but it's not rare enough that there's no treatment for it, which I'm very thankful for. So I understand when people always write in my comments, it's not that rare. Okay. Yes, we know about blood disorders. Yes, there's treatments, but it is characterized as a rare blood disorder. So I'm not really sure sometimes what I'm supposed to respond. Is there something I'm supposed to say differently? Is there a reason they're saying this? I don't know. So those I used to also type out, well, technically it is blah, blah, blah. And again, if they don't want to take the time out to watch my videos, then I'm not going to comment. And I actually just stopped. I left those comments up, but I didn't respond. Another comment is, this is what happens when children are getting vaccinations. And again, if somebody would watch my channel, they would know individual babies are born with hemophilia. They don't just randomly get the hepatitis C shot and get hemophilia. There's no correlation at all. There is a really updated book that I bought. It's a medical book as of 2021, and nowhere does it mention vaccinations being a cause for severe hemophilia. So it's just important to remember that there's lots of people out there who try to have their own conclusions that just aren't actually valid or proven to even be true. Another comment that I get a lot is, well, you should just be happy you have a child. How dare you use the word grieving? And this is almost a punch in the face to people who have actually lost children. And obviously that is never my goal. My goal would never try to one-up somebody or try to make somebody feel bad. We can use the word grieving in a lot of situations. There are a lot of people, yes, it is often associated with specifically losing a loved one, right? We have to grieve their life. But grief can come in many forms. You get divorced. Even though that person is still alive, you have to grieve that life you previously had or the life you were expecting. That's normal. You lose a friend, they're still alive, but you still have to grieve that relationship. Specifically, when I was doing my clinical hours, somebody had lost a body part, and they had to learn how to grieve that body part. They had to learn that they are no longer going to live with that body part. They have to learn that they have to process this new life. When I pictured having a child, obviously I never imagined in my brain that there would be a medical disability that we are going to have to live with for my son's entire life. So I did have to grieve an expectation of a life that I was expecting. I wasn't expecting to have to deal with insurance claims every other day and have people angry with me and having to apply for help because of how expensive blood disorders are. There's just a lot of things that I was not expecting, and how would I ever know what that life is even like? I don't know anybody other than people I've met online who has a child with a blood disorder. Nobody in my town of over 50,000 people has hemophilia B. So again, it's not like anything I would have experienced even secondhand from somebody. So I know a lot of times when we scroll social media, we can take things personally. And I promise you, when I post my videos, I'm not out here trying to make anyone feel bad or in any way downplaying anyone else's hurt. So yes, I removed that short. I probably will not put it back up. I'm going to be more aware of what I post. I know that I've watched other people who post stuff and say, oh, I didn't expect it to have this many views. I didn't. I never did. I literally made that within 5 minutes, and it was just a way for me to process everything that happened. And I posted it online for relatability. Maybe somebody else who has a child with a blood disorder, because when I found out my son had a blood disorder, there wasn't a lot on YouTube. And even speaking to my family when they were researching, they even said there's not a lot on there. So I'm still trying to learn to find that comfortable place of sharing for awareness and relatability, but also trying to keep some things private and not overshare to keep my son's privacy. When you're sharing personal things and you get negative comments, it kind of gets to your heart a little bit. So I did take a step back and just was trying to be more aware of my mental health and how I felt about the whole entire situation, and to also ensure that my son's privacy was still in consideration. And that is all of the comments I wanted to share today. So if you have any negative comments, know you are not alone. And if something's not good for your mental health, you are more than welcome to take a step back and reanalyze how you're going to approach the subject. Thank you everybody for watching. Those who support my channel and actually look up the information. Google is free. There's ChatGPT. So when somebody sees a short, you think they would just quickly research something before they put it out there. Comments that, oh, you must have married your cousin or your brother. That's not the case. Hemophilia has nothing to do with that. So it's just little comments like that. Sometimes I really don't understand the person's purpose, and there may be no other purpose than that person is hurting, so they have another way to hurt somebody else. So I just wanted to share this video to say that we are all out there just trying to bring awareness, but negative comments comes with the territory, and sometimes they suck. Well, if you made it this far, please like this video and subscribe, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video.